आज के गीत माला में दर्शक श्रोता की ओर से नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल और आदावस और आप सभी भाई बहनों का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हुए शुरू करते हैं आज का प्रोग्राम। आज फ्राइडे का दिन है और फ्राइडे का मतलब होता है फ्राइडे नाइट मनी शो विद रंजीत धालीवाल जी। रंजीत धालीवाल जी जो बहुत ही ऑनेस्ट, बहुत ही हार्ड वर्किंग और बहुत ही अच्छी सेवाएं आपको देने वाले मॉर्टगेज ब्रोकर हैं। रंजीत धालीवाल जी प्रेसिडेंट हैं क्लैरिटी फाइनेंशियल के। भाई बहनों, जब भी आपने कोई नई मॉर्टगेज लेनी हो या अपनी रीफाइनेंसिंग करवानी हो तो एक बार ज़रूर रंजीत धालीवाल जी के साथ मिलें, इनसे सलाह मशवरा लें। आपके हज़ारों डॉलर बच सकते हैं अगर आप इनके दफ्तर में एक बार जाते हैं। बहुत ही अच्छी सेवाएं देते हैं और बहुत ही ऑनेस्ट सेवाएं आपको मिलती हैं रंजीत धालीवाल जी से। आप इनका नंबर नोट कर लें, कभी भी कॉल करके अपॉइंटमेंट बनाकर मिल सकते हैं। रंजीत धालीवाल जी का टेलीफोन नंबर है 416-992-7265 416-992-7265। रंजीत जी, स्वागत आज के प्रोग्राम में।
Thank you very much, sir. Nice to be here.
रंजीत जी, बहुत कन्फ्यूजन है मार्केट में, लोगों के दिलों में शंका है, पता नहीं लगता क्या ठीक है क्या नहीं। इस कन्फ्यूजन को दूर करें जो मॉर्टगेज रूल्स के बारे में है। क्या इन रूल्स के साथ लोग अभी भी 5% डाउन पेमेंट के साथ अपना घर खरीद सकते हैं?
Okay, good question. So basically, you're totally right that there is confusion as far as these new mortgage rules that have been introduced. Maybe just to recap, and the other part of your question is whether we can still buy with 5% down payment. The answer to that is absolutely yes. You can still buy with 5% down payment even after these rules come into effect on April 19th. Now, there's been 3 rules that have been introduced by the Department of Finance, and then CMHC came out and introduced additional rules, which we'll talk about later on in the program. So the first 3 rules that were introduced were, number 1 is when you're refinancing, you can refinance up to only 90%.
Ji.
Right? And the second rule is, so that's when you're taking the equity out, essentially, right? And the second rule is when you're qualifying for variable rate mortgages, you have to qualify at the 5-year posted rate. And the old rules said 5-year or 3-year posted rate, and most of the lenders in practice were using a 3-year discounted rate. And now I believe the practice is going to be that most of the major lenders are going to drop their posted rates down to whatever the discounted rates are anyhow. So not that much of a difference on that one. The third rule is that when you're buying a rental property, you have to put 20% down. Now, in addition to this, so CMHC came out a couple of weeks ago and they clarified the rules, and they also changed the regulation for self-employed individuals that used to be able to get mortgages on stated income basis. In other words, they didn't have to fully prove their income as long as they can, if they were self-employed, they can prove that they're self-employed for a 2-year period at least, and they don't owe any taxes to to Revenue Canada, in which case they could just state that my income is $100,000, $80,000, and so on. First of all, they started getting a little bit stricter on this rule, actually, that you can use stated income from ever since the credit crunch began. And now what they've said is, under the new rules, someone who has been in business for more than 3 years, they have to prove their income, full income, whatever is stated on their taxes, they have to use that. Otherwise, they cannot get a mortgage. And they've said anybody who is newer to a business, who's in business for less than 3 years, they can go ahead and use that still to qualify the stated income, where they pay a little bit higher premium and they get they can state whatever their income is. So that is an additional rule, and I believe this one is going to have more of an impact than any of the other rules.
Okay. क्या यही रूल्स की वजह है जो इतनी घरों की प्राइसेस ऊपर जा रही है?
You know, that's another great question, because obviously the market is very hot right now, and the government of Canada is trying to see if they can cool it slightly so that it doesn't get overheated, so that we have a crash or anything like that. But no, these rules are one thing. I guess it's the confusion in these rules is one thing. People think that they may not be able to buy a house with 5% down or whatnot. And the other thing, I think the biggest structural problem is that there's just not enough inventory in the marketplace.
Yeah.
So people are thinking that, okay, if I sell this house, do I have any good prospects out there? And I think a lot of people are realizing that, you know what, there's really not that many good deals out there. So if I sell a house, I'm not guaranteed that I'm going to get a great deal after that. So I think that is a big structural program. There's not enough listings out there, and that is one cause for it. Second is that confusion, and the third, the biggest one, is the interest being at all-time low. The interest rates are so low that people, even though the prices have edged up somewhat, people are realizing that you know what, it makes sense to go for it right now. Even if the prices were to fall, what if the interest rates go up by 1 or 2%? That's going to have more of an effect, detrimental effect on their monthly payment than whether they can pick this house up for $10,000 or $5,000 cheaper. And thus the reason why you're getting a lot of multiple offers. You're getting people that are doing a lot more pre-approvals nowadays because they want to go firm on their offers. So that kind of stuff is going on. That's what's affecting the hot market right now.
All right. क्या लोग अभी भी जीरो डाउन पेमेंट के साथ घर खरीद सकते हैं? अगर खरीद सकते हैं तो किस तरह?
Yes, now that's another interesting point. Even though these rules are going to take effect on April 19th, and the rules for self-employed individuals are going to take effect on April 9th, we are probably going to continue on doing mortgages with zero down payment. And effectively how it is we have one lender in particular, if probably several other lenders as well, who gift the down payment to the borrower. Now, we all know that lenders don't give anything for free. So there's a catch. And the catch is that you have to pay posted rate. You'll have to pay a posted 5-year rate of 5.25%. And this particular lender will actually gift the down payment to you. They will give it to you. You pay that higher rate, so your payment is going to be slightly higher. But that way you can go get in with zero down payment. And 5.25% is still a great rate if you're getting in with zero down payment.
तो जो लैंडर्स हैं वो ज्यादा पैसा बनाने के चक्कर में है, जो बैंक्स वगैरह हैं, यही चक्कर है ना.
That's always the case. I mean, if you take a look, when you're driving down Gardner and you take to the left, take a look at the Toronto skyline, you see the 5 biggest buildings belong to the 5 biggest banks.
Very true. और आप हमें ये बताएं रंजीत जी,
yes,
अगर कोई प्रॉपर्टी हो 5 लाख की और सैलरी हो किसी की $30,000, तो किस तरह वो खरीद पाएंगे? क्वालिफाई कैसे करेंगे?
You know, that's interesting. I did a seminar on for professional real estate investor group, and these guys basically invited me to show them creative financing techniques for real estate investors. And one of the techniques that I came up with is how to buy a $500,000 property with as little as $30,000 down payment. And we do this by using a little concept called rental offsets. And rental offsets, so we give an example of somebody buying a $500,000 triplex, and their owner occupying one of the units in the triplex, and then 2 units are rented out of the triplex.
Yeah.
So the 2 units are rented out in this particular case for $1,500 each. So we could use, under these existing rules, so a few more rules that we haven't discussed on the radio. Under these existing rules, we can put 5% down payment, and we can use 80% rental offset to offset our mortgage expense, and then whatever's left over is what we have to qualify for. So if we have, let's just assume a $500,000 mortgage, your mortgage payment is going to be about, so your mortgage payment is about $2,200. And you've got taxes of, let's say, another $500, $2,700. Now we're getting $3,000 rent from 2 units of the triplex, and we're occupying one of them. That $3,000, I can use 80% of that, so that is $2,400. So what I do is my total expense is $2,700. We're going to use heating expense, so $2,800, let's say. $2,800. Out of that, I can minus out $2,400.
Yeah.
So the person only has to qualify on $400 actually.
Oh, I see.
So $400 mortgage payment they qualify for. I think the income required is somewhere around $15,000-$20,000 for that. If that.
Rajiji, no matter what the rules are, you always come up with solutions.
Some sort of solution. If you deserve a home, we will find a solution for you. If you can demonstrate that you have the ability to make your payment, we'll figure out a solution for you.
एक कमर्शियल ब्रेक लेना चाहूंगा, लेकिन उससे पहले अपना आज का स्पेशल दें क्या है हमारे लिसनर्स के लिए.
Sir, special is a lot of people under the new rules. Remember, you're only going to be able to refinance up to 90% of the value of your property. Under the existing rules, we can refinance up to 95%. So if you're thinking about refinance, just get your application in before the April 19th deadline. And refinance means you're increasing your mortgage for whatever purpose. Either you need to pay off some debts, or you need to do some renovations or whatnot, or you just want to take some money out to invest. And when you do that, you have to pay legal fees. You have to discharge the existing mortgage and pay and get into a new mortgage. Now, anybody that calls us today, and we will pay your legal fee portion if you happen to be one of the first 20 callers to contact me at 416-992-7265. That's 416-992-7265. And leave me your name and number. You're going to get my voicemail system. Leave me your name and number, and I'll call you back. We'll discuss your mortgage situation, see if it makes sense to refinance, and if you happen to be in one of those 20 callers, we'll pay the legal fees for you.
तो भाई बहनों, कॉल करें अभी अभी और इस स्पेशल से ज़रूर फ़ायदा लें. नंबर है रंजीत धालीवाल जी का 416-992-7265. 416-992-7265. एक कमर्शियल ब्रेक लेते हैं और फिर वापस आते हैं.